Hello, 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 and welcome to the best day of the week. It's Wednesday here on the Black and Orange Political Tarot and Astrology. Thank you for being here. I am here literally every single day of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. Just put your questions in the chat before I come on. We have epic troll slayers. Thank you. You have kept us safe for years. And you've made it possible that we have got a fantastic community because everybody has been so kind to each other and so kind to us. Thank you. If you're watching on replay, hello. You can go down in the description box. All the questions are listed there. Miss Sarah will be timestamping today as we go. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Or you can watch back on like 1.25 speed, which I do all the time on YouTube. I watch a stupid amount of YouTube. Yeah. But anyway. Okay, can we breathe now? The VP debate is behind us.
Yes.
And we can look to the future, which in about a month and 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
And we're going to get to a debate recap. But before we do that, there was a piece of media that we were going to look at. While you're pulling that, Spruce Pine, North Carolina, has been nearly completely decimated by Helene. It's a small town with about 2,200 people. What most don't know is that it's actually one of the most important cities in the entire world.
Yeah, we're going to let me play this because he explains right up front. 1 second here. Let me do this and share. And I know most people don't use TikTok, so we'll just do it this way. If I go, nope, that doesn't work. How big can I make you?
That's probably not as big as you can do it. But
I think you're right. Okay. This is only a couple minutes long. I may not do the whole thing, or YouTube will make me cut it from the live stream. But do listen to this for just at least a few seconds here.
I want to talk to you about the catastrophic flooding in rural Western North Carolina and how it directly affects you, no matter where you are watching this video from. This is what my hometown looks like after the flooding from Hurricane Helene. This is what this bustling main street normally looks like, and this is what it looked like immediately in the aftermath of the hurricane. The river is about 20 feet below the street. Odds are you have never heard of Spruce Pine, North Carolina. It is a sleepy mountain town with about 2,200 residents. It's also where I had my first job and my first date. This is what we call Lower Street. However, if you are watching this video on a piece of technology, you have a piece of Spruce Pine, North Carolina with you. The world's semiconductor industry hinges on a single quartz factory in North Carolina. In fact, take a look at this. The modern economy rests on a single road in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. The road runs to the two mines that is the sole supplier of the quartz required to make crucibles needed to refine silicon wafers. Why is that so important? Here is a quote from the article. "Here's something scary," says one veteran of the sector. "If you flew over two mines in Spruce Pine with a crop duster loaded with a very particular powder, you could end the world's production of semiconductors and solar panels within 6 months. Without Spruce Pine's high-quality quartz, there would be none of these crucibles, which means there would be no silicon wafers, which means, well, the end of the computer chip manufacture as we know it. Spruce Pine is home to the purest quartz in the world, and all modern technology relies on those pure quartz. Geographically speaking, the uniquely pure minerals at Spruce Pine were created about 380 million years ago when Africa collided with North America. There is nothing else in the world like this. The world relies on the quartz from Spruce Pine, North Carolina."
Yeah.
Yeah. And right now it is glug glug underwater.
Yeah.
Also, why is that not a why is the government not wildly protecting that place?
That it is wild to me. Wild. I can understand not advertising it because then it makes it vulnerable.
Right.
But it definitely should be more protected. I mean, I don't know necessarily how you'd protect it from something like this, but Rose Blue says she heard something about this last night. Yeah. So, how is this going to affect technology going forward? I mean,
yeah. The other thing that he talks about in that video is that the people in the town should be reaping more of the benefits of the importance of their work because they worked that mine.
Yeah. You'd think the people, you think that the people responsible for mining the world's best supply of that quartz would be better, taken care of.
Now I want to know who owns that mine and how much money do they have?
Whew.
And why on earth can't you share it with the miners? But then again, I mean, I would, but maybe that's why I'm not a billionaire, because I don't think along those lines.
Well, the thing about it is, though, is that even if you had money, you would not be a billionaire because you would donate. I mean, you wouldn't get to that point because you would be steadily.
I would.
I can't stand Rowling at all, but she never hit billionaire status because she kept donating to different causes. Now, she started donating to the wrong causes. That's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that she could have been a billionaire a long time ago, and that altruism, you have that. So,
I think it's going to be okay. I've got what I've got here. I've got one major arcana. It's the Magician. I mean, it's not. I don't have absolute catastrophe, as in like meltdown. Queen of Pentacles, and yeah, there are people making money from this. And why aren't who are the chip makers? NVIDIA, Intel.
I'm not sure.
Intel specifically, I know. Yeah. But why aren't they doing more?
Well, the thing about it is, and they're asking in the chat, how would somebody protect? I mean, you can't protect from a natural disaster, but the areas leading to it, there could be more accessibility.
More security.
The infrastructure around there could have been better shorn up. I mean, I understand the government ultimately, certain things are the government's responsibility. Levees and all that good stuff, dams and whatnot, those are the government's responsibility. But if I know that my multi-million-dollar area, is billion-dollar area is vulnerable, I would do what I needed to do and lobby what I needed to do to make sure that.
Yeah. Well, somebody figured this out, and they definitely. I mean, because obviously this wasn't a thing 100 years ago. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you. But again, there are a lot of people not benefiting from this. This sitting pretty card in the middle, which isn't entirely just the people who are super rich because of this, because I do have a 3 of Cups, and then it ends in this 6 of Wands, which isn't great, but this would speak more to things going back to normal, a very inequitable normal. But I'm not getting cards of boom, our technological infrastructure is going to implode. I'm not getting that.
Okay. I think the miners should be treated better, and
Yes. Sally Mount was saying the communication infrastructure in Tennessee and North Carolina has crashed. Communications card for the reading right there. Yeah, big problems. Queen of Cups, Empress, 10 of Wands. So this would be maybe in the Harris administration, maybe it's the people in the Biden administration somewhere, maybe it's Democrats in Congress. But this is doing something about it for the sake of the whole country, because this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Something of this, something that is the pinch point, is the bottleneck for the basis of our current technology, I would argue, is of an importance up there like the Hoover Dam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the burden continues. So, okay. So I'm not getting awfulness.
Sorry, Cynthia, that was my air conditioner. I've got a little window unit in here. I turned it off. My bad.
Do feel free to
I've got a fan. I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. I got a fan, and it's not like triple digits outside. It's okay. All right. All right. 11:08. Alexa had a question. Going to the debate. After the debate, how is the energy looking for election day? Do the cards still show Harris as president?
I've had the strangest songs going through my head this morning, all from the 80s. Earlier on, talking about Vance, I had Sade's Smooth Operator going through my head. And just now, when you asked that question, I've got Paula Abdul going, do you love me? Do you love me? Tell me, baby. I told you on the right, they're going to say, oh, Vance won. Yeah. He's a good con man.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. Yeah, so this is very small. I mean, this is tiny energy. This is not major arcana, but Vance won, high five, blah diddy blah diddy blah. Let me show you this. I'll do it this way. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, bless you, anybody who needs that ambulance or whatever that was. All right, so yeah, over on around the political dynasty, Vance did the work and etc. Blah did the blah. Okay, now I'm going to skip the center card and the end card and just say, and they have a plan. They have a plan going forward on the right, and it's to take the okay. Hush. Strength card right in the middle. Women closing the mouth of the orange monster. Yep, but they have a plan to stop those uppity women.
Concept of a plan.
Concept of a plan, right? And in here, what's the major arcana? What's the thing in capital letters, whereas everything else is in lowercase? It's in the center card, which is usually the most powerful card in the reading. So yeah, you mansplain your plan to me.
Mm-hmm. Before I get to Cheryl's question, because it ties into it, and like you and I were talking about briefly beforehand, I'm gonna be a little blunt.
Go ahead.
Vance went to Yale. He was on the debate team at Yale, so he was trained on a because they will work you. Yeah, I mean, if you're on the debate team, they are putting you through paces like you would not believe to make you as smooth as possible. Walls, that's not his background, and that's okay. Vance, how to put, and I apologize for my bluntness, but you can take a turd and you can polish it and you can shine it, but at the end of the day, it still stinks. And so Vance might have been polished up there and sparkled, but he was still, at his fundamental core, a pile of poo. So do with that what you will. But Bum, ba, da, bum. Cheryl says at 15 even. JD Vance can smile and smirk, but he's still a jerk. Absolutely. Lying for over 90 minutes straight last night. He was a smooth criminal. It's scary. What's his political future after Harris wins?
Let's have a look. Oh, hello, hanged man.
Mm.
No need to ask. He's a smooth operator. Oh,
My
jeez.
oldest has heard me talk about Vance, and she knows the issues and whatnot, but she's been with school and work. Oh.
We see him. We see who he is. But go ahead.
Mhm.
Did you talk about your?
But she hasn't seen too many clips of him. I mean, she's heard it, and she's heard me talk about it, and she knows what he stands for, but she's never seen him on TV. Well, lucky. So she walks in last night during the debate, and she's like, "What's up with Guy Lighter, dude? What is?" I said, "That's JD Vance." She's like, "That's Couch Guy?" I said, "Yeah, that's Couch Guy." She said, "Huh. Okay." And then at the end, she sat and watched. At the end, she saw his wife, and she's like, "She is gorgeous. He does not deserve her." I said, "No, he does not." She's like,
From
"And
the
what did you know?"
mouths of babes.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I said, "Well," I said, she was a pretty good attorney." And then she said, "Please tell me that she didn't retire to raise love seats from the Couch Guy." I said, "Yeah, that's where we're at." She's like, "He does not deserve her." I said, "No, he does not."
No. Deborah's asking, how old is your daughter?
That's my 23-year-old. Yeah.
So your oldest.
Yeah, my oldest. Yeah.
Okay. We love Tara.
Yes. She retired to raise love seats from the Couch Guy.
What did Becca think?
Becca was not feeling well. Becca's been sick, so
Okay.
Becca was laying down.
Oh, poor
So
little
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
much good, bud.
Oh. Well, they know Vance is one of them, and he's an empty vessel. And you can pour anything you want into him, and as long as he gets money and power, prestige, he can climb that ladder. He'll do it. He is a moral vacuum, like deep space. And the cards?
Oh.
Anybody see any huge movement, massive?
Mm-mm.
We know you're a liar. Did you notice toward the end he was also starting to do Trump's accordion hands?
Yeah, it's almost like he's a mimic.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taking on some of that, and a plan. What, to be a jerk, and then he's over here and go away.
Yeah.
So if he's expecting to run for the presidency in 2028, sit down on a chair.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Ooh.
And then Trump, bless him, he was going nuts on truth last night, from what I understand, which is nothing new. But all right, speaking of Trump.
Okay, why do I keep getting the death card? Ace of Cups, new beginning for Democrat, death card.
Let's look at it.
Okay. Oh, I hope she feels better. Innocent Potato saying Linda G got her flu shot and COVID-19 shot, and she's also under the weather. Well, I hope she feels better soon. She's a dear. Very talented. Okay.
So
I'm sorry. I was waiting for the next.
No, I was just saying. I thought you were going to read on why you keep getting the death card.
Oh, I'm
Wording.
sorry. No, actually, well, that's a good idea. That was just one. That was rhetorical. Oh, she has COVID. Oh, that's even worse.
Oh
Oh,
no,
bless. Oh, bless. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
no.
Linda G.
Mm-mm.
Because why do I keep getting the death card when I'm talking about the election? Strength. World with women at the center. Lovers and the magician. So they'll get their MAGA people, but nothing trumps the world card. Card for the reading of strength.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, but again, as I've said before, that doesn't mean that no Republicans are going to get voted in.
Right.
We're going to need every single vote, and it's going to be a tiny amount of votes in an relatively unexpected place that's going to make the difference. So,
all right. At 21:35 or 21:40, High Priestess has a question. Well, 45's lies about the Biden-Harris government response to Helene be one of 45's downfalls in this election? Like, is it him lying about, oh, well, the people can't even get him on the phone? And Camp is like, yeah, I can. Got a direct number. We're good. Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like a lot of this is already baked in. So yeah, Trump's he's a bully and he's obnoxious and he's going to keep being out there being awful. And I've got a Knight of Swords celebration here of Democrats, 3 of Cups, 10 of Swords right in the middle, Queen of Cups, which is Kamala Harris, and a Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
So I think a lot of this is baked in, and I keep getting Harris doing well. We just need to make sure, we just need as many, we need her to win. We need every vote in Congress.
Yes.
Everything we can possibly do. And
yes.
I'm waiting like this for my mail-in ballot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Apparently they sent them out in Cook County, here in Chicago a week ago, maybe something like that, or they were supposed to. So I should get it any day now.
Okay.
But oh yeah, Chris Cole, we're gonna talk about the GoFundMe scam.
Yeah. Ooh, that's coming. Next, Peg had a question. In recent speeches, Trump's voice is slow and very monotone. Is he on a different medication or something? What is? Yeah.
Well, first of all, and this is not to excuse anything, but he's tired. I'd be tired. Yeah, that kind of schedule. Ugh.
Well,
then again,
he hasn't been doing as much lately.
True. But I think it was Stevie Nicks who was talking about her former addiction, Gold Dust Woman. And she was saying that at that level of fame and touring and doing all this stuff, she said, I don't know how anybody could actually do it without some kind of pep.
Yeah.
Because it's too much. And there is some of this. I wouldn't trade places with any of them, you know. And my gosh, would my cats be upset if I traded places with Trump?
Muy piquito.
You guys might be a little upset too.
A little bit.
So, okay, that's medication. You've got the caduceus. It's actually it's not the scallion. It isn't it's the staff of something else, begins with a D. But anyway, it's medical.
Mhm.
It's at the basis of medical. Okay, so there's that. He's been in a situation where you get up and get really get going to do all the work, and look good for a few seconds, Again, my brain is throwing up all kinds of historical little pop culture tidbits. Back in the 80s, why are we in the 80s, brain? But we're in the 80s. Back in the 80s, Madonna was on tour, and it was her first really big tour. And it was like the Eras tour of the day. It was huge, and everybody was talking about it. And there was one point at which she's like on a grand piano, or she had some elaborate costume or whatever it was, but she was there, and the stage would rise and fill a gap so that then she'd be on the regular stage. And there was some kind of mechanical problem and what have you, and she's standing there, and they're like, I guess the intro music is going, and the mechanism to raise the thing isn't happening. And she's standing there, and she said to herself, there's nothing I can do. And when this thing finally does move, or I get upstairs up there in one way or the other, you only have a few seconds to make a first impression. So I need to, whatever happens, to just be smiling.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm getting here, which is this very frozen, I am the chosen one. Now applaud.
Yeah.
But it's very static. This is moving. That's the traveling, the running around, the attacking,
right.
work, and then stand there, followed by absolute pain and exhaustion. And so then how do you get going the next day? You start all over again. Ding.
Well, there you go.
So.
All right.
I'm curious now. Hang on. Oh, thank you, Fran. Thank you. Yeah, I love this image. Hang on. It doesn't begin with D. It's Asclepius, the rod of Asclepius. That's the staff. It's a staff of the Greek god of healing. Whereas the caduceus was more associated with Hermes or Mercury, which was a symbol of peace, about a messenger of gods, heralds, ambassadors, that kind of thing. But if you're talking about it in a medical, it's the rod, a medical aspect. It's the rod of Asclepius, I believe. And I could be mispronouncing that. I never remember that. I never remember the name, but I just know that what we call a caduceus isn't, if it's medical, it's not actually a caduceus. Does that matter? No. Did I just share it with you anyway? Why not?
Fabulous.
Here we are.
All right.
True,
Walter
Alice.
has a question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Alice is saying, Alice, Trump, yes, he does start his day with a Diet Coke, but I don't think that's what I'm talking about. That big cup. It could be, but I don't think so. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Walter has a question. This was one of the things brought up last night, but why was the Middle East quiet during the Trump presidency? Or was there just stuff that we didn't hear about? Like where it was something is amiss. Or were we just not told?
No, I'm getting two things that are coming to mind. One is something I was reminded of recently, which I had heard a million years ago, but I not obviously a million, but I had heard a long time ago, which I had forgotten. And I was reminded of it recently. And that is, on the one hand, Saudi Arabia, for anyone who is unfamiliar with this little tidbit, Saudi Arabia is not Saudi Arabia. It's Arabia. It is the country of Arabia. Saudi is the name of the ruling family. And it would be like calling the United States the Trump States of America.
Oh, he'd love that.
Wouldn't he? Yeah, Arabia is the country. It should be. But no, they were like, no, our name's going right on there. Anyway, because I'm remembering that, I think, because of MBS. Because he was on the side of, he was getting all kinds of, he could do whatever he wanted. He got away with unaliving Khashoggi in the most heinous way imaginable. And Kushner was his best buddy. And think about that. I mean, explain to me how MBS is not a serial killer. Somebody explain that to me. Explain to me how he is not effectively, state sanctioned or not, that he is not a serial killer. And he's best buddies with guess who?
Hey, Becca.
Hey, Becca from House of Lenormand. No, it's fine. Yeah, so he, whatever sphere of influence he had, he wanted to keep things quiet because it benefited him. Other than that, what I'm getting is, like at the beginning, I've got a whole lot of there were people there whose interests were improved by Trump being in power. Not nice people, not people we want to have that much power, but that's part of it. But a lot of this, and including the card right, okay, so like this is the card for the reading, this beaten up one, but right beneath that, lots of cups, right? And that says something because other than that first card, cups, star, cups, it was Trump being in power created a vacuum of diplomacy. And the other countries were busting their rear ends to try to put out fires. Absolutely trying to pick up the slack. And also using Trump as a boogeyman. And I don't mean a boogeyman in the sense of he's not dangerous, but in the sense of, look, you don't want, do you really want the United States of America?
Right.
Do you really want Trump with this military getting involved over here? So I think there was a whole lot of diplomacy going on, where a lot of they didn't fear Trump in that he was worth fearing. They feared him that he's so awful.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
he's so strong and masterful. No, he's a blankety blank idiot who's a raging narcissist.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm getting. That's why the Middle East stayed the way it was. Well, that and the fact, of course, he invited the Taliban to Camp David. Let's never forget that. Oh my gosh. Every time I cut the cards. Empress, death card. Country, women, we're done with your garbage.
So much. So done. So done. But Kristen has a question.
Thank you, by golly, Ollie. Thank you.
Oh, so sweet. Kristen from Uncover the News says Trump, a self-proclaimed billionaire, launched a GoFundMe to help hurricane victims. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with GoFundMe, but you set up this thing and you give an account, a bank account number where all this money goes in. Now, once GoFundMe gives you the money, GoFundMe does not watch over you to make sure that you allocate it appropriately. That's not their responsibility. So there's no oversight on this. Will Trump use the GoFundMe funds for himself?
Steve Bannon got into a lot of trouble. He and his cohorts, he went to prison for saying, give us money to help build the border wall, and then they pocketed that money.
Mm-hmm.
So there are laws, but I mean, there's not the oversight at GoFundMe, but there are laws. Right. What does it say in the fine print? I'm wondering if because they usually sneak something in at the bottom that nobody sees that says, well, this isn't necessarily, and where it can best be used, and waffle, nonsense, sleight of hand.
Right.
But let me see. It's just gonna get. I like Andre's orange cockroach in trouble.
Yes, as of right now, they've raised over $4 million of the $1 million goal.
They've raised $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking for the fine print.
There's one. It's one paragraph. Former President Donald J. Trump has launched this GoFundMe campaign as an official response for MAGA supporters to offer their financial assistance to their fellow Americans impacted by Hurricane Helene. With so many across the southeastern U.S. facing challenges after the storm, President Trump is on the ground in communities.
He's on the ground at Mar-a-Lago because he can't get
see the aftermath firsthand. All donations will be directed to help those most affected by Hurricane Helene. Any level of generosity will go a long way for your fellow Americans who are suffering. Now, that's the end of the original thing. There is one update. President Trump and his supporters are using the GoFundMe platform to direct unprecedented levels of generosity from MAGA supporters to help Americans facing the terrible aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Just a matter of days, this account for those across the southeastern U.S. has raised millions of dollars. Please continue to support your fellow Americans in their recovery efforts. President Trump is grateful for your support of this effort, and as funds come in, we will disperse to those who have been impacted. We have selected Samaritan's Purse and Water Mission as the recipients of this generosity. Okay, but who runs that? We have made an initial disbursement and will continue providing more funds as support continues to come in. So according to this, it's all going to Samaritan's Purse.
No, it's not. There's nothing there that says that an executive fee, an administrative fee is going to Trump. It doesn't say 100% of that money. They're lying. They're lies. I'm sorry. They're just lying. Lying liars. Yeah, there are people really, really hurting, who are desperate for help. But he's inserting himself into the middle of this with just lies. Now, people will get real help, not from him. I do have some legal action down here. Unfortunately, it's all the way at the end. But there's nothing this man does. He, as Joyce Matthews said, there is everywhere this man goes, he turns into a crime scene.
That part.
And anyone here who thinks that Donald Trump is going to have any account, anything related to him, raise $4 million, and he's not going to see a dime of it.
You got another thing coming there. Whew.
I'd like to know how much money Samaritan's Purse and etc. I'd like to know exactly how much money they've received. And aren't they supposed to divulge that as charities?
Yeah, because it's a nonprofit, so they'll have to divulge it. They have to show their donations. So at some point, by the end of the year, they'll cover this quarter. So yeah.
Oh,
Joyce Matthews says that was Joyce Vance, not her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Joyce Vance, I'm sorry.
Yes, Valerie, 5013C. Yep.
Joyce Vance, sorry about that. Give it time. There are secrets here about this charity.
It's run by Franklin Graham.
I don't know who that is.
Billy Graham's son. You like Billy Graham's daughter and granddaughter with the son.
This is charity right in the middle. This is not higher wisdom. This is secrets. Will not end well for anyone. Give it time.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy Graham's offspring is not quite as heinous as Jerry Falwell's offspring, but they're not far apart. So, all right, at 4350. Now, Chris Cool, Pops Peterson, and Donna Andrews all had questions relating to now we're talking about the Longshoreman strike.
Okay.
So, night before last, for those who are not aware, Longshoremen around, all the way down the East Coast, around into the Gulf, went on strike, most of them. So, the Longshoremen's Association is on strike after negotiations broke down. How long will this last? We'll start with that. I mean, is this something that's going to take? I know you can't say exactly how long something will last, but is this something that we're looking at for a while?
It's like there's something about it's very brave of them to go on strike here. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm getting that there are people in charge, who are in the position of power, and this is a very shaky, brave step. That's what that's saying. They're carrying the burden. This is again this action. The Longshoremen, they're carrying this burden, whereas whoever the rich people are in this situation, owners of whatever companies or whatever the situation is, they're still making money hand over fist. This would hint to me that they may get some success. They may have some success.
Okay.
I'm not getting bad cards here. I mean, that feels like some success and the country can go on. I was concerned for a second. Could that be the costs of all of this being passed on to average Americans, and there may be some of that, but let me see, Longshoreman, will they succeed? There's something very, like, people striking, it's like they're really, really scared.
Well, they're saying in the chat that the head of the Longshoreman Union is a Trump friend, and that they turned down a 50% raise. Now, I want to preface this by saying, personally, I'm very pro-union, and these folks have the right to strike. Their timing sucks a little bit, but they absolutely have the right to strike. So, yeah, I don't know.
So you're thinking that this was designed by Trump to
Oh no,
to
that's chat. I'm not familiar enough
No,
with
no,
it. That's
no,
the
in the
general
chat.
consensus.
I'm making the chat.
Yeah.
I'm getting fear. I don't know what this is. I am getting the most deep-seated, like, afraid for your life. Like, maybe it's there are a lot of the longshoremen who, like, you do what the leader wants or else. I don't, because yeah, they're trying to stir stuff up, but Ace of Swords, then of course trying to stir stuff up. Another ace, and again the Empress card, the country. So this does lead to something. There's something new. There's very much something new that comes out of this.
Will they get a new leader? Because this one went to Mar-a-Lago apparently before they started striking.
Look, I realize that I don't know who the leader is. I don't know that. But I'm reading on, like, I was reading on the union members, like the people on the ground, and what I'm getting is fear.
That sucks.
I'm getting big time fear. Hang on. Okay, pulling out 2 cards at a time for each. Okay, that's unusual. Okay, all right. This is an or else situation. There's a plan. It's ugly. This energy is ugly. It has been communicated. You will communication far right or else. In the center, we are in charge or else. In the end, you will work when we tell you to. But there's some change here. Some benefit for these people who are scared. I don't know if there's any way to get rid of whoever those horrible people are at the top of the union, but there's change coming. There's change coming to this union. But right now, like, I need to get out of this energy because it's awful. That's what I'm getting.
Okay. Well, the only other question on this will be, will this affect the election in any sort of way?
Okay.
I don't want to keep you in this energy if it's that bad.
Well, I appreciate that. Will this affect the economy or the election?
Election.
It's too close to the election.
Okay.
I'll turn the cards over, but the energy is this is not, no.
Okay.
Card for the reading. Temperance.
The
cards for the reading, you do get the sun, so this could be his links to Trump, but far right guy refusal to listen to decency, someone big for their britches who maybe got to go to Mar-a-Lago or something, walking. But this almost feels like having to walk away here. But the election, got nothing.
Okay.
No. This
Right.
in over the coming months, yeah, this could get gnarly, but not with 1 month and 3 days from the election. It's no.
Yes. Yes, Lisa, I saw you had a question in there about, well, I guess, are you okay enough in this energy to look to see if there's collusion between Trump and the leads and the leader, or is it too yuckadoo?
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if the guy's that big of a Trump guy, yeah, that's
yeah.
And they turned down a 50% increase in wages. Yeah, you don't need the cars for that.
Okay. All right, yeeting ourselves out of that.
Yay!
5105. Oh goodness, why is it that every time we talk about folks from my neck of the woods, they're always the worst people imaginable?
Because
usually
we talk about a lot of people who are the worst people imaginable, and it just happened to be where you live. But that's not the only place.
That's because I sucked up all the awesome. Like I took all the awesome, true. And there was nothing left. But
yes, the universe trying to balance itself out. Yes. Well, I think you're that awesome.
Oh, you're very sweet. No, I was being severely facetious on that. Okay, so I love you, dear. Okay, Gretchen has a question. Senator John Kennedy from the great state of Louisiana. In a Judiciary Committee meeting, all but accused an Arab American advocate of supporting terrorist organizations and told her she should put her head in a bag and a bunch of other racist things.
Excuse me? Oh, yes. By the way, for anybody who's not aware, this is not one of the Kennedys.
Oh, just no, so he wishes.
Yeah, no. He just, by coincidence, his last name is Kennedy, but he's a far-right guy in Louisiana. Just throwing that out there. So he's on the Judiciary Committee, and in a meeting, he all but accused an Arab American advocate
supporting terrorist organizations and told her she should put her head in a bag. I mean, this is also the guy who said, since if you're worried about police overreach or something, and you're getting robbed, why don't you call a crackhead? Same guy. So, he's just a lovely piece of work. Yes. He is. He's like, you can almost, when you're driving and you're in an area where, it's clear and it's level, like there's no trees or anywhere nearby, but it's really hot. And on the horizon, you can see the road and like the asphalt. You can see the heat on the asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost see the sulfur wafting off of him like that. As he walks by, like he's just, yeah.
The problem is Louisiana is a very red state, which surprises me. I'll be honest. I am surprised Louisiana, but I lived in Baton Rouge. I spent time, I'd go down to New Orleans a lot. I don't know why I thought that there'd be a blue streak in Louisiana, but
there's 2 blue dots. Well,
yeah.
New Orleans is a blue dot-ish. So, yeah.
We know who he's linked with.
Mm-hmm.
Republicanism, not listening to decency, absolute lies, fabrications in front of the whole country. And he remains a part of the cult. And awful. All kinds of awful. I would love to say he's going to lose his position. When is he up for election next?
He ran in 2022, so 2028.
Ugh.
Yep.
He's just gross. There's Judgment, but King of Swords, he's got the power, and there's the far right. He's just there.
Yeah. Alden Pond, Shreveport can be terrible, yes, but we're not all terrible in Shreveport.
No, you're not.
That, and
By
we
the way-
have 50 Cent here now throwing enough shade to cover everybody. So I'm here with that.
GM Davis saying New Orleans does the voodoo. Well, I don't know. Did you get on
They
that?
can ship some Grigri bags this way because
Yeah,
I would
like,
eating some
somebody.
pork
Could you go talk to?
Yeah. I mean, I've done the let's go visit, Marie Laveau's resting place and leave a little trinket for her and roll out. So, I mean, we'll do what we got to do. Gree bag, whatever we got to do. Let's just make it happen. Can't do this no more. So, anyway. All right.
Oh, my golly, Ollie, thank you again. Thank you. Gifted
So
5
sweet.
memberships to random people in the chat. Thank you.
Oh. All right. At 56:35. Lady Kay and Sharon Rice were both asking, will there be problems with voting in Florida and North Carolina with so many people displaced?
Good question. Also,
Yes.
Dylan, we know that voodoo, depending on what you're calling it, we know very, very much. It is very much a religion and deserves credit.
Yes.
It came up in the chat, and I was just saying, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. And you would never, I mean, really, and we've talked about this before. All religions, when it boils down to it, are moving energy in one way or another for different purposes. Christians with prayer, Wiccans through other rituals and whatnot. And so I am not about to get on the bat. Voodoo practitioners, they're really in touch with their energy moving abilities, and I'm not messing with that. Deep respect. No, thank you. Nope.
Yeah. And
so, yeah.
No, and we don't bash religions here. We really don't.
Mm-mm.
We bash narrow-mindedness and cruelty. And if somebody wants to put that in a religion suit, we're going to call it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could be some difficulties. North Carolina, yeah, it could really have some problems. Because I don't know that this is necessarily this is the card I get for the election, but this is also like a huge rushing water, suspension, everything waterlogged. That was North Carolina. The other in Florida. That's not as disrupted.
Okay.
But North Carolina, oh, bless them. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you.
Well, and Michelle has a question that is very valid with this. If it's going to be disrupted in North Carolina, which party is going to be more affected by it?
Which way were things leaning?
I think North Carolina leaned red, if I'm not mistaken.
North Carolina.
Not me trying to pull up 270 to win and accidentally typing in 2048. Y'all, my brain is...
It'd be less stressful.
Right.
Downside, downside, up,
Right.
side, down, up, side.
I will say, according to 270 to win, North Carolina is actually a toss-up state, which is interesting. It is pure neutral.
Did
That
it used
makes
to be
things
more conservative?
white. Maybe. Let's see here.
Anyway, that's a card for the reading. Is I think they're used to lean that way, and you've got the Sun card, but then you had women's rights taken away right there. And look at this. Democrats, King, Hanged Man, suspension, Knight of Cups. So you've got a suspension here, but it's on either side. You've got Democrats masterfully moving forward because of what was taken away from women. So it might push this might be enough to push Democrats into power there. Especially when it's hard to say you don't, you want to defund the government when the government is literally the only thing. You've lost everything.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for me for today. But thank you. Thank you for being here and all your kindness and being so kind to each other. And Miss Sarah, thank you, my friend.
You're most welcome, dear.
All right. So, yeah, it's 1:17 p.m. here in Chicago and in Louisiana. At 3 o'clock, there will be the Creative Sprints over on the Creative Sprints channel. You're always welcome. And other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow. I'm here every single day of the year. Weekdays, weekends, holidays, your birthday, my birthday. I am here for the duration, and we're going to be okay. We really
Absolutely.
are. So hang in there. You're not alone. We are in this together, and there are good days ahead.
Y'all, there are.
And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye.